knowing when to ask for help is critical when you're in a leadership position.
It's getting the best out of people. That's the essence of leadership.
Welcome back to Leaders on Leadership. We're here with Gail McGovern, President and CEO of the American Red Cross, and she's ready to take some questions from our students from Wayne State University School of Business Administration. Your question, please.
My name is Natalia Kumar, and I'm a marketing and management major at Wayne State. And my question is, if you could offer a piece of advice to a college business student, what would you tell them?
So that is a wonderful question, first of all. And I'm so glad you're majoring in marketing and management, because that's what I taught. I taught marketing. So I have found that when people graduate business school, they get very intellectual about what kind of career they want to pursue. And I've seen students with spreadsheets and all kinds of complicated decisions to figure out where they want to work, what they want to do. And here's my advice. Use your head when you're making these decisions, but don't forget to use your heart too. When you go out into the corporate world, you've got to keep in mind that probably the most important thing that will make you happy in your work is if you feel culturally that you like the people that you're working with. So there could be two jobs. Make sure you put in the equation that you want to be with people that give you joy, that have high integrity, and make some of the decisions from here, not just from here.
Question, please.
Hello, my name is Tayson Lin, and I'm not actually a business student at Wayne State. I'm a biochem major with pre-med. But my question is, on your path to your goal as CEO for the American Red Cross, what's the biggest obstacles that you have faced?
In my career, what was the biggest obstacle?
Yes.
So there are many times in my career where I thought that I should get promoted, and my boss didn't think I should get promoted. And you know what? That's the boss's prerogative. So if you, the roadblocks, when I would hit one of them, I would just go around. So people say there's this corporate ladder. I like thinking of it as a lattice. So if I worked for a boss that said, you know what, I just don't think you have what it takes, I would say, I really appreciate that feedback, and I've learned so much from you, and I'd love to work in another department and learn a lot there too. And I raised my hand for a lot of lateral non-promotional jobs, and each time I was learning and learning. And so I didn't really consider them roadblocks. I considered them opportunities to just learn more about the business.
Question, please.
Hello, my name is Naomi Ida, and I'm studying my MBA at Wayne State. My question is, what kind of approach in your leadership do you take from leading a volunteer-based organization as opposed to an employee-based organization?
That's another great question. So there's a big difference between volunteers and staff, but there's even a bigger difference between people that work in a humanitarian organization in a nonprofit and people that work in a corporate setting. In corporate America, if I would say, hey, this is the direction I think we're going, and push back if you don't agree, people would push back, and we'd have some debate, and at the end of the day, if they hadn't convinced me, I'd say, okay, we're going to jump, and they would say, okay, how high? In a humanitarian organization, if people feel that you are taking the organization in a way that isn't good for the mission or isn't good for our donors, they will not say how high. They will say, hey, first of all, we have 30,000 employees and 650,000 volunteers, so most of them are volunteers. And they're basically saying, no, I don't think you're doing this right. And there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of give and take, a lot of, and I've changed my mind talking to volunteers. So honestly, I wish when I was back in corporate, I did a little bit more of this. I mean, you don't want to become indecisive and take forever to move. I mean, eventually you do have to say, okay, I've heard enough, we need to go in this direction. But the beautiful thing about volunteers is you don't have to say, I'm going to take away half your salary, and if you don't do what I do. They're there for their heart, and they are probably the wisest people because they're just there for the mission, and they have a lot to bring to the table.
Thanks, Gail. Please join us again next time for another edition of Leaders on Leadership. See you then.